I am sitting in my dimly lit study, surrounded by dusty tomes and flickering candles. The wind howls outside like a chorus of restless spirits, and I feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. It's the perfect atmosphere for delving into the world of horror movies, and one of the most iconic creations in the genre, Frankenstein's monster. As I delve into the origins of this creature, I'm reminded of the tragic loss that inspired Mary Shelley to write the novel. You see, Mary Shelley's own life was marked by grief and heartbreak. Her half-sister Fanny Imlay took her own life in 1816, and Mary Shelley was devastated. The loss of her loved one sparked a fascination with death, and the afterlife that would eventually shape the story of Frankenstein. Imagine being a young woman living in a world where death was a constant presence. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and the boundaries between life and death were becoming increasingly blurred. Mary Shelley's fascination with death was not just morbid curiosity, it was a reflection of her own existential fears. What happens when we die? Is there an afterlife? Or are we simply reduced to nothing more than dust and ashes? These questions echoed through Mary Shelley's mind as she sat in her family's summer home in Switzerland, surrounded by the majestic beauty of the Alps. It was there that she began to craft the story of Frankenstein, a tale of creation, rejection, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. As I read through the novel, I'm struck by the way Mary Shelley explores the themes of creation and rejection. Victor Frankenstein, the protagonist, is a brilliant scientist who becomes obsessed with the idea of creating life. He spends years studying, experimenting, and pushing the boundaries of what is thought to be possible. And when he finally succeeds in bringing his creature to life, he is both thrilled and horrified by the result. The creature, often referred to as Frankenstein's monster, is a being of immense power and intelligence. But it is also rejected by its creator, who sees it as a monster and a reflection of his own darker impulses. This rejection sets the stage for a series of tragic events that will unfold throughout the novel. But what makes Frankenstein's monster so iconic? Why does it continue to captivate audiences to this day? I believe it's because the creature represents something deeper and more primal, the other. We've all encountered people or beings that are different from us, that don't quite fit into our worldview. And it's precisely this sense of otherness that sparks both fear and empathy in us. As I sit here in my study, surrounded by the shadows of the night, I'm reminded of the way Frankenstein's monster is often depicted as a creature of darkness and chaos. But what if we were to see it in a different light? What if we were to recognize that this creature, this monster, is also a reflection of our own deep-seated fears and insecurities? This, to me, is the true power of Frankenstein. It's a story that challenges us to confront our own darker impulses and to recognize the humanity in even the most seemingly monstrous of beings. As I close the book on this chapter of my journey, I'm left with more questions than answers. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to create life? And what happens when we reject the very things we've created? These are questions that have haunted me for weeks, and I'm not sure I have any answers. But I do know this: the story of Frankenstein is a reminder that the line between creator and creature is a thin one, and that our actions have consequences that echo through the ages. As I lean back in my chair, the wind howling outside, I'm struck by the realization that the monster within us is far more terrifying than any creature that lurks in the shadows. It's a reminder that the true horror lies not in the monster, but in our own capacity for destruction, for creation, and for rejection. The question that lingers in my mind is this: what would happen if we were to confront our own darker impulses, to acknowledge the monster within? Would we find redemption, or would we succumb to the very fears that we've created? The answer, much like the creature itself, remains elusive, waiting to be discovered in the shadows of our own minds. As I sit here in the darkness, surrounded by the faint glow of candles, I'm left with a sense of unease, a feeling that the line between reality and nightmare is thinning. But it's also a reminder that the true power of Frankenstein lies not in its ability to scare us, but in its ability to make us confront the darkness within ourselves. And so, as the night wears on and the candles flicker in the breeze, I'm left with a sense of wonder, a sense of awe, and a deep respect for the enduring power of Mary Shelley's creation. The monster within us may be a terrifying thing, but it's also a reminder that we have the power to create, to destroy, and to redeem. The question is, will we choose to confront our own darkness, or will we succumb to the very fears that we've created? As the wind howls outside and the darkness closes in, I'm left with a sense of uncertainty, a sense of wonder, and a deep appreciation for the enduring power of Frankenstein's monster. The creature may be a monster, but it's also a reflection of our own deepest fears, and a reminder that the line between creator and creature is a thin one. As I sit here in the darkness, surrounded by the shadows of the night, I'm left with a sense of awe, a sense of wonder, and a deep respect for the enduring power of this iconic horror movie. A legendary creation. As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I find myself drawn to the iconic tale of Frankenstein's monster. It's a story that has captivated audiences for centuries, a cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific hubris and the consequences of playing God. I remember the first time I saw the 1931 film, starring Boris Karloff as the monster. The way he lumbered across the screen, his grotesque appearance striking fear into the hearts of the innocent villagers. It was a masterclass in horror, and one that has influenced countless filmmakers since. But Frankenstein's monster is more than just a creature. He's a symbol of the unknown, a representation of the fears that lurk in the shadows of our collective psyche. His birth is a product of Victor Frankenstein's ambition, a scientist who dared to challenge the boundaries of nature and create life from death. And as I read Mary Shelley's novel, I'm struck by the similarities between Frankenstein's monster and the creature of modern science fiction. From the replicants of Blade Runner to the androids of AI, we're constantly grappling with the ethics of creation and the consequences of our actions. But what makes Frankenstein's monster so enduring? Is it the way he's been portrayed on screen, a lumbering giant with a heart of gold? Or is it the way he's been interpreted by audiences, a symbol of the monstrosity that lies within us all? For me, it's the monster's desire for companionship and acceptance that resonates the most. He's a creature who's been rejected by society, shunned by the very people he's trying to connect with. It's a universal cry, one that echoes through the corridors of time and speaks directly to our own experiences of loneliness and isolation. As I explore the world of Frankenstein's monster, I'm struck by the parallels between his story and our own. We're all creatures of science and technology, created from the raw materials of nature and shaped by the forces of society. And yet, we're also capable of growth and change, of evolving beyond the limitations of our programming, and becoming something more. It's a tantalizing prospect, one that raises questions about the nature of identity and the human condition. If we're created from the stuff of science and technology, then what does it mean to be alive? And what does it mean to be human? As I ponder these questions, I find myself drawn to the monster's tragic fate. A creature who's been rejected by society, forced to live on the margins of existence and survive in a world that's hostile to his very being. It's a heartbreaking tale, one that speaks directly to our own fears of rejection and exclusion. But it's also a story of hope, a testament to the power of love and acceptance in the face of overwhelming odds. For despite the monster's grotesque appearance, he's a being who's capable of love and compassion, a creature who's worthy of our respect and our sympathy. As I close this chapter on Frankenstein's monster, I'm left with more questions than answers. What does it mean to be alive in a world of science and technology? And what does it mean to be human in a society that's increasingly robotic and artificial? These are questions that have haunted me for years, questions that I'm still grappling with today. But as I explore the world of horror movies, I'm convinced that the answers lie in the stories themselves, in the characters and the creatures that inhabit the shadows of our collective psyche. And so, I'll continue to explore the world of Frankenstein's monster, to delve deeper into the mysteries of creation and the consequences of our actions. For in the end, it's not just a story about a creature. It's a story about us, about the very nature of our humanity and the monsters that we create in our own image. As I sit here in my dimly lit study, surrounded by the shadows of the night, I'm reminded of the words of Mary Shelley herself. I aimed at delineating passions in the midst of the most repulsive subterranean scenes, and at preserving an unbroken flow of action. It's a vision that has captivated audiences for centuries, a testament to the enduring power of horror and the human condition. And so, I'll leave you with a question. What do you think it means to be alive in a world of science and technology? And what do you think it means to be human in a society that's increasingly robotic and artificial? Let me know in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. As I close this section, I'm left with a sense of wonder and awe, a sense of the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our understanding. And I'm reminded of the words of the great horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, who once said, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." It's a fear that we've all experienced at some point in our lives, a fear that's driven us to seek out the unknown and to confront the darkness that lies within. And it's a fear that's at the heart of every horror movie, a reminder that the unknown is always just beyond the edge of our understanding, waiting to pounce and snatch us from the safety of our everyday worlds. As I move on to the next section of this story, I'm excited to explore the world of horror movies and the creatures that inhabit it. From the vampires of Nosferatu to the zombies of Dawn of the Dead, I'll be delving into the very heart of horror itself, exploring the themes and motifs that have captivated audiences for centuries. But for now, I'll leave you with a final thought. What do you think it means to be a monster? Is it a creature that's been created from the stuff of science and technology? Or is it something more? Let me know in the comments below. And let's continue the conversation. As I close this section, I'm left with a sense of anticipation and excitement, a sense of the adventures that lie ahead. And I'm reminded of the words of the great science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke, who once said, "The universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, seems like an awful waste of space." It's a thought that's haunted me for years, a thought that's driven me to explore the unknown and to seek out the mysteries of the universe. And it's a thought that's at the heart of every science fiction story, a reminder that the universe is full of wonder and awe, waiting to be explored and understood. As I move on to the next section of this story, I'm excited to explore the world of science fiction and the creatures that inhabit it. From the robots of Metropolis to the alien invasions of War of the Worlds, I'll be delving into the very heart of science fiction itself, exploring the themes and motifs that have captivated audiences for centuries. But for now, I'll leave you with a final thought. What do you think it means to be alive in a universe that's full of wonder and awe? And what do you think it means to be human in a world that's increasingly robotic and artificial? Let me know in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. I still remember the countless nights spent immersed in the world of horror movies, and one character in particular continues to haunt me, the iconic Frankenstein's monster. As I delve deeper into the psyche of this creature, I'm struck by the overwhelming sense of loneliness that defines its existence. A being created from dead body parts, cobbled together with a spark of life, can't help but feel like an outcast among its own kind. The moment the monster takes its first gasping breath, it's met with terror and revulsion by those who created it. The scientist, Victor Frankenstein, is horrified by his own creation, and he abandons it to fend for itself in the cold, unforgiving world. The monster, with its grotesque appearance and awkward gait, is rejected by society, forced to roam the shadows, searching for acceptance and understanding. I recall watching a particular scene from the 1931 film adaptation, where the monster, played by Boris Karloff, stumbles upon a group of villagers celebrating a harvest festival. The music is lively, the laughter is infectious, and the monster's eyes widen with longing as it watches from a distance, yearning to be part of the celebration. But as soon as it approaches, the villagers turn on it, brandishing torches and pitchforks, chasing the monster away with fear and hatred. That moment, for me, captures the essence of the monster's tragic existence. It's a creature that's been shunned by humanity, left to wander the earth, searching for connection and compassion. But every time it tries to reach out, it's met with violence and rejection. The monster's desire for human connection is genuine, but its appearance and actions are misinterpreted, leading to a cycle of fear and hostility. As I continue to explore the monster's story, I'm struck by the parallels between its existence and our own. We're all searching for acceptance and belonging, but sometimes our differences are what set us apart. The monster's rejection by society serves as a powerful reminder that we must strive to be more understanding and compassionate towards those who are different from us. But the monster's story doesn't end there. Its actions, driven by feelings of isolation and loneliness, lead to a series of tragic consequences that shape the course of its existence. The monster's quest for acceptance ultimately leads to chaos and destruction, as it seeks to prove its worth to a world that refuses to accept it. One of the most intriguing aspects of the monster's story is its capacity for love and affection. Despite being created by a scientist, the monster is capable of forming deep emotional connections with others. In the novel, the monster falls in love with a young woman named Elizabeth, and its actions are motivated by a desire to protect and care for her. However, its love is ultimately doomed, as the world sees it as a monster, a creature that's beneath human dignity. The monster's desire for love and acceptance is genuine, but it's met with rejection and violence, leading to a devastating outcome. As I reflect on the monster's story, I'm reminded of the importance of empathy and compassion in our lives. We're all capable of forming deep connections with others, but it's our differences that make us unique. The monster's existence serves as a powerful reminder that we must strive to be more understanding and accepting of those who are different from us. As I sit here in my dimly lit study, surrounded by the shadows of my own creations, I'm struck by the monster's haunting presence. It's a creature that's been etched in my mind for years, a symbol of the dangers of scientific hubris and the importance of compassion and understanding. The monster's story is one that continues to captivate audiences to this day, a cautionary tale about the consequences of playing God and the importance of treating all beings with kindness and respect. As I turn the final page of the novel, I'm left with a sense of awe and reverence for the monster's tragic existence. It's a creature that's been shunned by humanity, left to wander the earth, searching for acceptance and understanding. But its story serves as a powerful reminder that we must strive to be more compassionate and understanding towards those who are different from us. The monster's quest for acceptance is a universal theme that resonates with us all. We're all searching for belonging and connection, but sometimes our differences are what set us apart. The monster's story serves as a powerful reminder that we must strive to be more understanding and compassionate towards those who are different from us. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I find myself drawn to the timeless tale of Frankenstein's monster. It's a story that has captivated audiences for centuries, a cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific hubris and the consequences of playing God. But what is it about Frankenstein that has endured for so long? Is it the monster's grotesque appearance or the tragic circumstances of its creation? I'd argue that it's something far more profound. Frankenstein's use of the other as a narrative device to explore human nature. You see, the monster is more than just a creature. It's a symbol of the unknown, a representation of the parts of ourselves that we keep hidden. It's the shadow self, a concept coined by Carl Jung to describe the repressed thoughts and desires that lie beneath our conscious awareness. The monster's existence serves as a reminder that we're all capable of darkness and cruelty, and that our actions have consequences. But what fascinates me most about Frankenstein is the way it uses the monster as a mirror to reflect our own fears and insecurities. We're drawn to the monster's plight because it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Victor Frankenstein's hubris is a classic example of the perils of playing God and the devastating consequences that follow. His creation is a reminder that we're not gods, and that our actions have consequences that we can't always control. As I watch the classic Universal monster movies, I'm struck by the way the filmmakers use the monster's presence to explore themes of identity and belonging. The monster is an outcast, a creature that's rejected by society because of its appearance. But is it truly a monster, or is it just a reflection of our own fears and prejudices? The film's use of shadows and lighting creates an eerie atmosphere that heightens our sense of unease, making us question what's real and what's just a product of our imagination. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein is the way it uses the monster's relationships with other characters to explore the complexities of human nature. The monster's interactions with the blind de Lacy are a poignant reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for redemption and forgiveness. And yet, the monster's brutal rejection by the villagers serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of mob mentality and the importance of empathy and understanding. As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I'm struck by the way Frankenstein continues to influence the genre. From the creature from the Black Lagoon to the xenomorph from Alien, the other is a staple of horror storytelling. But what sets Frankenstein apart is its nuanced exploration of the human condition. It's a story that's both terrifying and thought-provoking. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for redemption and forgiveness. As I reflect on the enduring appeal of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the way it continues to resonate with audiences today. Whether it's the monster's tragic circumstances or its symbolization of the shadow self, Frankenstein serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of empathy and understanding. It's a cautionary tale that's both timeless and timely, a reminder that we're all capable of darkness and cruelty, and that our actions have consequences. But what about the monster's role in modern horror movies? How does it continue to influence the genre, and what can we learn from its enduring appeal? I'll explore these questions in the next section, but for now, let's take a closer look at the ways in which Frankenstein continues to shape the horror genre. The monster's influence can be seen in everything from the supernatural creatures of The Conjuring to the monstrous abominations of Mad Max Fury Road. But what sets Frankenstein apart is its nuanced exploration of the human condition. It's a story that's both terrifying and thought-provoking, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for redemption and forgiveness. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I'm struck by the way Frankenstein continues to inspire new generations of filmmakers. From the gothic horror of Crimson Peak to the sci-fi horror of Alien, Covenant, the monster's influence can be seen in everything from atmospheric settings to terrifying creatures. But what's most striking is the way that Frankenstein continues to resonate with audiences today, serving as a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of empathy and understanding. And so, as we continue our journey through the world of horror movies, let's not forget the enduring legacy of Frankenstein. It's a story that's both timeless and timely, a reminder that we're all capable of darkness and cruelty, and that our actions have consequences. The monster may be a creature of the night, but its influence will continue to shape the horror genre for generations to come. I still find myself drawn to the world of horror movies, and one character in particular continues to haunt me: the iconic Frankenstein's monster. As I delve deeper into the psyche of this creature, I'm struck by the overwhelming sense of loneliness that defines its existence. But Frankenstein's influence isn't limited to the screen. Its impact stretches far beyond horror movies, seeping into popular culture, literature, and art. The image of Frankenstein's monster has become an instantly recognizable symbol of horror and the unknown. We see it in the way people react to the creature, a mixture of fear, disgust, and a hint of fascination. It's as if we're drawn to the monster's raw, unbridled power and the sense of chaos it embodies. But what is it about this creature that has captivated audiences for so long? One reason lies in its adaptability. Frankenstein's monster has been reimagined and reinterpreted countless times, reflecting the changing societal values and fears of each era. From the 1931 film starring Boris Karloff to the 1994 version starring Robert De Niro, the monster has undergone numerous transformations. Each adaptation brings a unique perspective to the character, but the essence of the creature remains the same: a lumbering, misunderstood being, rejected by society. Take, for example, the 1931 film Frankenstein. This classic movie cemented the monster's place in popular culture, and its impact can still be felt today. The film's director, James Whale, was a master of atmospheric tension, and his use of shadows and lighting created a sense of foreboding that still sends shivers down viewers' spines. The monster's portrayal by Boris Karloff is also iconic, with its flat head, bolts in the neck, and lumbering gait becoming the defining characteristics of the creature. Fast forward to the 1970s, and we see a new interpretation of Frankenstein in the film Young Frankenstein. This comedy horror classic, directed by Mel Brooks, pokes fun at the traditional monster movie genre while still paying homage to its roots. The film's star, Gene Wilder, brings a level of wit and charm to the character, making the monster more relatable and human than ever before. But Frankenstein's influence isn't limited to film. In literature, authors have been drawn to the character's themes of loneliness and rejection. Mary Shelley's original novel, published in 1818, is a cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific hubris and the consequences of playing God. The novel's exploration of the monster's inner turmoil and its ultimate rejection by society has become a timeless classic, influencing generations of writers and artists. In art, Frankenstein's monster has been a favorite subject of many artists, including the famous illustrator Boris Vallejo. Vallejo's haunting depictions of the creature, with its towering figure and brooding expression, have become iconic in their own right. The monster's image has also been used in advertising and marketing campaigns, often as a symbol of the unknown or the unexplained. So, what is it about Frankenstein's monster that continues to captivate us? Is it the sense of chaos and destruction it embodies? Or the raw, unbridled power that lies beneath its lumbering exterior? Perhaps it's the way the creature reflects our own fears and anxieties, our own feelings of rejection and loneliness. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain. Frankenstein's monster has become an integral part of our shared cultural heritage, a symbol of horror and the unknown that continues to haunt us to this day. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I'm struck by the way Frankenstein's monster has become a touchstone for our societal values and fears. It's a character that has been reimagined and reinterpreted countless times, reflecting the changing times we live in. But beneath its many transformations, the essence of the creature remains the same, a lumbering, misunderstood being rejected by society. And it's this sense of loneliness and rejection that continues to haunt me, long after the credits roll. So, what do you think? What is it about Frankenstein's monster that continues to captivate us? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. Do you have a favorite Frankenstein adaptation or interpretation? Perhaps you have a theory about what makes the monster so enduring. Whatever it is, I want to hear it. As we move forward, I'll be exploring more of the Frankenstein legacy, delving deeper into the character's psyche and its impact on popular culture. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on the enduring power of this horror icon. What does Frankenstein's monster represent for you? Is it a symbol of chaos and destruction, or a reflection of our own fears and anxieties? Whatever it is, I'm sure we'll continue to explore it in the days and weeks to come. But for now, I want to leave you with a question. What if Frankenstein's monster wasn't just a creature, but a symbol of something greater? Something that speaks to our very humanity. Let's pick up the conversation in the next section, where we'll explore the deeper meaning behind this horror icon. What do you think? As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I find myself constantly drawn back to the iconic character of Frankenstein's monster. He's a creature that has been etched into our collective consciousness, a symbol of the other that continues to fascinate and terrify us in equal measure. But the monster's legacy goes far beyond the confines of the original novel, or the numerous film adaptations that have followed in its wake. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein's monster is its enduring status as a cultural icon. From its first appearance on the silver screen in 1910's Frankenstein to the countless imitations and parodies that have followed, the monster has become an instantly recognizable figure, synonymous with horror and the supernatural. But what is it about this creature that continues to captivate audiences, inspiring new generations of filmmakers and fans alike? For me, the answer lies in the monster's complex and multifaceted nature. On the surface, Frankenstein's creature is a lumbering, grotesque being driven by a primal urge for revenge and a desire to be accepted by its creator. But as we delve deeper into its psyche, we find a rich tapestry of emotions. From the deep-seated loneliness that defines its existence to the desperate longing for human connection that drives it to commit acts of unspeakable horror. This dichotomy at the heart of the monster's character has inspired countless interpretations and reimaginings over the years. From the sympathetic portrayals of Boris Karloff and Peter Boyle to the more sinister, menacing versions of Christopher Lee and Robert De Niro. But no matter the incarnation, the monster remains an endlessly fascinating figure, a symbol of the dark, primal forces that lurk beneath the surface of our civilized world. The monster's impact on the horror genre cannot be overstated. It has inspired countless imitations and parodies, from the campy, B-movie spoofs of the 1960s and 1970s to the more serious, atmospheric explorations of the 1980s and 1990s. And yet, despite the countless variations and reinterpretations, the monster remains a constant, an enduring presence in the world of horror that continues to captivate and unsettle audiences to this day. But the monster's legacy extends far beyond the confines of the horror genre itself. As a symbol of the other, it speaks to deep-seated fears and anxieties about identity, community, and the nature of humanity itself. In an era of increasing globalization and diversity, the monster's continued relevance as a cultural icon is both timely and thought-provoking, sparking conversations about empathy, understanding, and the importance of human connection in a world that often seems to be pulling apart. For me, the monster's most enduring legacy is its ability to challenge our assumptions and confront our fears head-on. In an age where we are increasingly bombarded with messages of acceptance and inclusion, the monster's existence serves as a stark reminder that there are still forces in the world that are beyond our control, that there are still things that we do not understand or cannot explain. And yet, even in the face of such uncertainty and fear, the monster remains a powerful symbol of hope and redemption. For in its ultimate rejection of its creator and its subsequent journey towards self-discovery, we find a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience, adaptability, and ultimately, forgiveness. As I reflect on the monster's enduring legacy, I am struck by the realization that its story is far from over. Despite the countless adaptations and reinterpretations that have followed in its wake, the monster remains an endlessly fascinating figure, a symbol of the dark, primal forces that continue to shape our world today. And it is this very complexity, this very multifaceted nature, that continues to captivate audiences, inspiring new generations of filmmakers and fans alike to explore the monster's depths and uncover the secrets that lie within. In the end, it is this very ability to inspire and provoke that defines the monster's lasting legacy. A testament to the power of horror to capture our imaginations and challenge our assumptions in ways that few other genres can. And it is this, above all, that continues to draw me back to the world of Frankenstein, a world of darkness, of fear, and of the unknown, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blur, and the very fabric of our existence is turned upside down. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I find myself drawn to the iconic character of Frankenstein's monster. The many faces of Frankenstein have captivated audiences for decades, from the classic Boris Karloff portrayal to modern retellings that reimagine the creature in fresh and terrifying ways. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein's enduring popularity is the way it has evolved over time. The monster's appearance has changed dramatically, reflecting the societal values and fears of each era. In the 1930s, Boris Karloff's lumbering, groaning creature was a product of its time, a symbol of the dangers of unchecked scientific progress. Fast forward to the 1960s, and Hammer Films' Frankenstein series introduced a more campy, tongue-in-cheek take on the classic tale, with Peter Cushing's obsessive Victor Frankenstein embodying the era's fascination with science and technology. But it's not just the monster's appearance that has undergone a transformation. His personality, too, has been reimagined in countless ways. In the 1990s, films like Frankenstein, 1994, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 1996, introduced a more nuanced, sympathetic take on the creature, played by Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh, respectively. These portrayals humanized the monster, making him a more relatable and sympathetic character. As I delve deeper into the world of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the ongoing fascination with the monster as a symbol of the other. This concept, the idea of a creature who is both familiar and yet utterly alien, speaks to our deep-seated fears about identity, community, and what it means to be human. In a world where borders are increasingly porous, and our sense of self is constantly challenged by new technologies and social norms, Frankenstein's monster represents a primal fear of the unknown. This theme is echoed in modern retellings of the classic tale from the 2010's Frankenstein 2014, which reimagines the monster as a product of corporate greed and scientific hubris, to the more recent Victor Frankenstein 2015. Which reimagines the classic tale as a coming-of-age story about a young scientist struggling to come to terms with his own creation. As I explore the many faces of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the ways in which this character continues to reflect our changing societal values. In the 1920s, the monster was a symbol of the dangers of unchecked capitalism. In the 1960s, he represented the anxieties of the Cold War era. And today, he embodies our fears about technology and identity. But Frankenstein's enduring popularity also speaks to something deeper, our enduring fascination with the human condition. At its core, the Frankenstein story is a tale about creation and responsibility, about the consequences of playing God, and the nature of what it means to be human. As I continue to explore the many faces of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the ways in which this character continues to captivate and terrify us in equal measure. a true horror movie icon. As I reflect on the many faces of Frankenstein, I'm left with a question. What does it say about us as a society that this character continues to captivate us in such a profound way? Is it a testament to our enduring fascination with the unknown, or simply a reflection of our deep-seated fears about our own place in the world? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. Frankenstein's monster remains an indelible part of our collective consciousness, a symbol of the other that continues to haunt and fascinate us in equal measure. In the next section, I'll be exploring the ways in which Frankenstein's influence has extended beyond the world of horror movies, shaping popular culture and our collective imagination in profound ways. The science behind the horror. As I delve deeper into the world of Frankenstein, I find myself fascinated not only by the monster himself, but also by the scientific concepts that underpin the novel. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein may have been a pioneering work of horror, but it was also a product of its time, a time when scientific discovery was pushing the boundaries of human understanding. Let's take a closer look at some of the scientific inaccuracies and anachronisms that are present in the novel. One of the most glaring examples is the concept of galvanism, which is used to bring the monster to life. While it's true that Luigi Galvani did conduct experiments with electricity and dead animals in the late 18th century, the idea of using a lightning bolt to animate a corpse is, of course, utterly fictional. Nevertheless, it's a testament to Shelley's knowledge of the scientific developments of her time that she chose to incorporate this concept into her story. But what's really interesting is the historical context in which Shelley was writing. During the early 19th century, there was a huge surge of scientific discovery and innovation, particularly in the fields of chemistry and physics. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and people were starting to realize the incredible potential of science to transform society. And yet, as we see in Frankenstein, there was also a growing sense of unease about the dangers of unchecked scientific progress. This unease is reflected in the character of Victor Frankenstein himself, who is driven by a passion for discovery and a desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge. But as he becomes increasingly obsessed with his creation, he begins to neglect the consequences of his actions, and the monster becomes a symbol of the dangers of scientific hubris. Now you might be wondering why Frankenstein remains so enduringly popular, even after all these years. One reason is that it taps into our deep-seated fears about the dangers of technology and the consequences of playing God. But it's also a cautionary tale about the importance of responsible scientific inquiry, about the need to consider the potential consequences of our actions before we act. And that's a message that resonates just as powerfully today as it did when Shelley first wrote the novel. In an age where we're surrounded by the latest scientific breakthroughs and technological innovations, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and the potential of it all. But as we see in Frankenstein, it's also essential to remember the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of considering the human cost of our actions. As I explore the world of horror movies, I'm constantly struck by the ways in which Frankenstein continues to influence and inspire new generations of filmmakers and writers. But what I think is really fascinating is the way in which the novel itself reflects the scientific and cultural anxieties of its time. Take, for example, the character of the monster himself. On the surface, he's a creature driven by a desire for revenge and a need for human connection. But beneath that, He's also a symbol of the other, a creature who is fundamentally different from us, yet somehow simultaneously familiar. And it's here that we see the enduring power of Frankenstein as a work of horror. By creating a monster who is both terrifying and sympathetic, Shelley taps into our deep-seated fears about the unknown and the other. It's a fear that's as old as humanity itself, and one that continues to haunt us to this day. But what's really interesting is the way in which Frankenstein challenges our assumptions about the nature of monstrosity. Is the monster truly a monster, or is he simply a creature who has been misunderstood and mistreated? And what does this say about our own capacity for violence and cruelty? As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I'm constantly struck by the ways in which Frankenstein continues to influence and inspire new generations of filmmakers and writers. But what I think is really fascinating is the way in which the novel itself reflects the scientific and cultural anxieties of its time. Take, for example, the concept of the other. In Frankenstein, the monster is a creature who is fundamentally different from us, yet somehow simultaneously familiar. This is a theme that continues to resonate with audiences today, and one that speaks to our deep-seated fears about the unknown and the other. But what's really interesting is the way in which Frankenstein challenges our assumptions about the nature of monstrosity. Is the monster truly a monster, or is he simply a creature who has been misunderstood and mistreated? And what does this say about our own capacity for violence and cruelty? As I explore the world of horror movies, I'm constantly struck by the ways in which Frankenstein continues to influence and inspire new generations of filmmakers and writers. But what I think is really fascinating is the way in which the novel itself reflects the scientific and cultural anxieties of its time. Take, for example, the character of Victor Frankenstein himself. On the surface, he's a brilliant scientist driven by a passion for discovery and a desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge. But beneath that, he's also a symbol of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of considering the human cost of our actions. And it's here that we see the enduring power of Frankenstein as a work of horror. By creating a monster who is both terrifying and sympathetic, Shelley taps into our deep-seated fears about the unknown and the other. It's a fear that's as old as humanity itself, and one that continues to haunt us to this day. As I reflect on the science behind Frankenstein, I'm struck by the way in which the novel continues to resonate with audiences today. It's a testament to Shelley's genius as a writer that she was able to tap into the scientific and cultural anxieties of her time and create a work of horror that continues to captivate and terrify us to this day. But what's really fascinating is the way in which Frankenstein challenges our assumptions about the nature of monstrosity. Is the monster truly a monster, or is he simply a creature who has been misunderstood and mistreated? And what does this say about our own capacity for violence and cruelty? As I explore the world of horror movies, I'm constantly struck by the ways in which Frankenstein continues to influence and inspire new generations of filmmakers and writers. But what I think is really fascinating is the way in which the novel itself reflects the scientific and cultural anxieties of its time. Take, for example, the concept of the other. In Frankenstein, the monster is a creature who is fundamentally different from us, yet somehow simultaneously familiar. This is a theme that continues to resonate with audiences today, and one that speaks to our deep-seated fears about the unknown and the other. But what's really interesting is the way in which Frankenstein challenges our assumptions about the nature of monstrosity. Is the monster truly a monster, or is he simply a creature who has been misunderstood and mistreated? And what does this say about our own capacity for violence and cruelty? As I reflect on the science behind Frankenstein, I'm struck by the way in which the novel continues to evolve. As I continue my journey through the world of horror movies, I find myself captivated by the iconic character of Frankenstein's monster. But have you ever stopped to think about what makes this creature so terrifying? Is it the physical appearance, the eerie way he lumbers across the screen, or something far more sinister? As I delve deeper into the world of Frankenstein, I've come to realize that the monster's psychological makeup is a key element of his enduring appeal. You see, the monster is often seen as a representation of the shadow self, that dark and repressed aspect of our own psyche that we're not proud to acknowledge. He's the part of us that we try to keep hidden, the one that's prone to anger, aggression, and all manner of primal urges. And yet, when we see the monster on screen, we can't help but feel a twisted sense of recognition. We see ourselves in him, and that's what makes him so terrifying. But the monster's psychological makeup is not just a reflection of our own darker impulses. It's also a reflection of the fear and anxiety that we experience in our everyday lives. Think about it. What's the most primal fear that we have? The fear of being hurt, of being rejected, of being vulnerable. And that's exactly what the monster represents. A creature who's been rejected by society, who's been hurt and abandoned. He's a symbol of our deepest fears, and that's what makes him so compelling. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Frankenstein narrative is the way it explores the relationship between fear and empathy. We're often told that we should be sympathetic towards the monster, that we should try to understand him and put ourselves in his shoes. But at the same time, we're also told that he's a monster, a creature who's capable of unspeakable horror. It's a paradox that's at the heart of the Frankenstein story, and one that continues to fascinate audiences to this day. As I reflect on the impact of Frankenstein on our collective psyche, I'm struck by the way it sparked conversations about empathy and understanding. We're living in a world where we're increasingly isolated from one another, where we're more likely to see others as other rather than as fellow human beings. And yet, the Frankenstein narrative reminds us that we're all capable of empathy, that we're all capable of understanding and compassion. The monster's impact on our collective psyche is a testament to the power of storytelling to shape our perceptions and attitudes. By exploring the darker aspects of human nature, Frankenstein reminds us that we're all capable of both good and evil. And it's that nuanced understanding of human nature that continues to captivate audiences to this day. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I'm struck by the way that Frankenstein continues to inspire new adaptations and interpretations. From the classic Boris Karloff portrayal to modern retellings that reimagine the creature in fresh and terrifying ways, the monster remains a timeless and enduring symbol of horror. And it's that timeless appeal that continues to captivate audiences, inspiring us to reflect on our own darker impulses and to explore the complexities of human nature. But what does the monster represent to you? Is he a symbol of our darker impulses, or a reminder of the importance of empathy and understanding? As I explore the world of horror movies, I want to hear from you. What does the monster mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation about the psychology of horror. As we delve deeper into the world of Frankenstein, I want to leave you with a question that haunts me to this day. What happens when we're faced with a creature who's been rejected by society, who's been hurt and abandoned? Do we show him compassion and empathy, or do we turn our backs on him? The answer, of course, is a reflection of our own darker impulses, and one that continues to fascinate audiences to this day. As I continue my exploration of the Frankenstein universe, I find myself fascinated by the journey of Mary Shelley's iconic novel from page to screen. The adaptation of Frankenstein from novel to film is a tale of challenges and opportunities, with each new translation bringing its own unique perspective to the story. I remember reading Mary Shelley's novel for the first time, feeling transported to a world of gothic horror and scientific curiosity. But as I delved deeper into the world of cinema, I began to realize just how different the film versions of Frankenstein were from the original novel. The iconic Universal Pictures starring Boris Karloff as the monster are perhaps the most well-known adaptations of Frankenstein. But what made these films so enduringly popular? One reason, I believe, is the way the Universal Pictures captured the essence of Mary Shelley's novel while also introducing their own unique twists and interpretations. Take, for example, the famous scene in which the monster comes to life, his body convulsing with electricity as the scientist Victor Frankenstein looks on in horror. This scene has been imprinted on popular culture, symbolizing the very idea of creation and the dangers of unchecked scientific progress. But the Universal Pictures were not the only adaptations of Frankenstein to make a significant impact on popular culture. In the 1950s and 60s, Hammer Films produced a series of Frankenstein movies that are still widely regarded as some of the best in the genre. These films, starring Peter Cushing as the scientist and Christopher Lee as the monster, brought a new level of sophistication and style to the Frankenstein universe. One of the things that struck me about the Hammer films was the way they used the Frankenstein story to explore themes of identity and morality. The monster in these films is not just a mindless beast, but a complex and nuanced character who is struggling to find his place in a world that rejects him. This is a theme that is still resonant today, and one that speaks to the enduring power of the Frankenstein story. As I continued to explore the world of Frankenstein, I began to realize just how influential the character and the story have been on popular culture. From literature to art, the Frankenstein monster has been reimagined and reinterpreted in countless ways, each one reflecting the anxieties and fears of its time. Take, for example, the famous painting by Francis Bacon, 3 Studies for Figures at the Base of a Crucifixion. This painting, which depicts a twisted and nightmarish vision of the human form, owes a clear debt to the Frankenstein monster. And in the world of literature, authors such as H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe have been influenced by the Frankenstein story, using its themes of horror and the supernatural to explore the darker reaches of the human psyche. As I look back on my journey through the world of Frankenstein, I am struck by the sheer scope and diversity of the character and the story. From the original novel to the countless adaptations and reinterpretations that have followed, Frankenstein remains one of the most enduring and influential horror stories of all time. And as I continue to explore this fascinating universe, I am eager to see what new twists and interpretations await. But before we move on to the next part of our journey, I want to leave you with a question. What is it about the Frankenstein monster that continues to captivate us to this day? Is it the way he represents the dangers of unchecked scientific progress, or the way he speaks to our deepest fears about identity and morality? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. The Frankenstein monster remains one of the most iconic and enduring characters in popular culture, and his story continues to haunt us to this day. As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I find myself constantly drawn back to the iconic character of Frankenstein's monster. There's something about this creature that continues to captivate audiences, sparking conversations about empathy, understanding, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. But what is it about Frankenstein that has endured for so long? Is it the physical appearance, the eerie way he lumbers across the screen, or something more profound? I believe it's the latter. The monster's ability to tap into our collective psyche, forcing us to confront our own fears and insecurities. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein is its cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. The novel's protagonist, Victor Frankenstein, is a brilliant scientist who becomes obsessed with creating life, driven by a thirst for knowledge and recognition. His pursuit of this goal ultimately leads to catastrophic consequences, including the creation of a being that becomes a monster. This theme is more relevant today than ever, as we witness the devastating effects of unchecked ambition in various fields, from science and technology to politics and business. The Frankenstein story serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers of playing God, of tampering with forces beyond our control. It's a warning that we would do well to heed, especially in an era where scientific advancements are happening at an unprecedented pace. But Frankenstein's impact goes far beyond its cautionary tale. The monster itself has become an icon of empathy and understanding, sparking conversations about the nature of humanity and what it means to be alive. The creature, as Mary Shelley so eloquently describes it, is a being of immense intelligence and sensitivity, capable of feeling love, pain, and compassion. This portrayal of the monster has had a profound impact on our collective psyche, forcing us to re-examine our assumptions about what it means to be human. It's a theme that has been explored in countless films, from the classic Universal monster movies to more recent adaptations like the 2014 film I, Frankenstein. Each iteration offers a unique perspective on the monster's character, inviting us to reflect on our own values and beliefs. The power of horror to explore complex themes and emotions is something that has always fascinated me. Frankenstein is a prime example of this, as it delves into the darker aspects of human nature, from fear and anxiety to compassion and empathy. The monster's journey is a powerful metaphor for our own struggles with identity, belonging, and the human condition. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein is its ability to evoke a sense of unease and discomfort in audiences. This is not just a result of the monster's appearance, but also the themes and emotions that the story explores. The film's use of shadows, lighting, and cinematography creates a sense of tension and foreboding, drawing the viewer into the world of the story. As I continue to explore the Frankenstein universe, I'm struck by the way in which the monster's character has evolved over time. From its origins as a creature of darkness and terror, to its more recent portrayals as a sympathetic and even likable character, the monster has undergone a significant transformation. This shift in perception is a testament to the power of horror to challenge our assumptions and force us to confront our own biases. By exploring the complexities of human nature, Frankenstein invites us to reflect on our own values and beliefs. to consider the consequences of our actions, and to empathize with those who may seem different from us. In the end, it's this ability to tap into our collective psyche, to spark conversations about empathy and understanding, and to explore complex themes and emotions that has made Frankenstein an enduring icon of horror cinema. As we continue to explore the world of horror movies, I believe that Frankenstein will remain a powerful and thought-provoking force, inspiring us to confront our own fears and insecurities and to challenge our assumptions about what it means to be human. As I continue my journey through the world of horror movies, I find myself fascinated by the evolution of the genre, particularly when it comes to the iconic character of Frankenstein's monster. It's hard to believe that a creature born from the pages of Mary Shelley's novel has become an enduring symbol of horror, inspiring countless imitations and parodies. But what's even more fascinating is how Frankenstein's monster has reflected the changing attitudes towards horror and the other over time. Growing up, I was always drawn to the classic Universal monster movies, where Frankenstein's monster was portrayed as a lumbering, grotesque creature shunned by society. But as I delved deeper into the history of horror, I realized that this portrayal was a reflection of the societal fears of the time. In the 1930s, when the original Frankenstein film was released, the concept of the other was often used to describe those who were deemed undesirable or threatening to the status quo. The monster, with its unnatural creation and outsider status, became a symbol of this fear, embodying the anxieties of a society struggling to come to terms with the rapid changes of the Industrial Revolution. Fast forward to the 1960s and 1970s, when the horror genre underwent a significant transformation. The rise of exploitation films and the counterculture movement brought about a new wave of horror movies that pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable on screen. Frankenstein's monster once again became a focal point of this shift, with films like Hammer's Frankenstein Created Woman and the Rocky Horror Picture Show reimagining the creature as a more sympathetic and even sympathetic character. This new portrayal of the monster reflected a changing societal attitude towards outsiders and those who didn't conform to traditional norms. Today, as we look at the modern horror landscape, it's striking to see how Frankenstein's monster continues to reflect our ongoing struggles with the other. From the xenophobic and racist undertones of films like Alien and The Thing to the more nuanced explorations of identity and belonging in movies like Get Out and Us, the monster remains a powerful symbol of our deepest fears and anxieties. And yet, despite its enduring relevance, Frankenstein's monster has also become a cultural touchstone, a shorthand for the horrors of the unknown and the unexplained. As I reflect on the evolution of horror and the enduring appeal of Frankenstein's monster, I'm struck by the ways in which this creature continues to inspire new generations of filmmakers and audiences alike. From the campy humor of Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein to the more serious explorations of the monster's humanity in films like Frankenstein Created Betsy, the character remains a versatile and enduring symbol of the horror genre. But what's perhaps most fascinating about Frankenstein's monster is its ability to reflect our changing societal values and attitudes towards the other. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, the monster remains a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of empathy and understanding. And as we continue to push the boundaries of what's considered acceptable on screen, Frankenstein's monster remains an enduring symbol of the horrors that lurk in the shadows of our collective psyche. As we move forward in our exploration of the Frankenstein universe, I invite you to join me on this journey into the heart of horror. What do you think it is about Frankenstein's monster that continues to captivate audiences? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. In our next section, we'll be exploring the enduring influence of Frankenstein on popular culture, from literature to music to film. Stay tuned for another thrilling installment of our journey into the world of horror movies. As I continue to delve into the world of horror movies, I find myself increasingly fascinated by the enduring influence of Frankenstein's monster on popular culture. From film to literature to art, this creature born from Mary Shelley's novel has left an indelible mark on our collective imagination. But what exactly is it about Frankenstein that continues to captivate audiences? And how has this character evolved over time to reflect changing societal values? As I explore the various adaptations and interpretations of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the countless ways in which this monster has been reimagined to reflect the fears and anxieties of different eras. From the 1931 film starring Boris Karloff, which tapped into the public's fear of science and technology gone wrong, to the 1994 film directed by Kenneth Branagh, which humanized the monster and sparked conversations about empathy and understanding. Each iteration of Frankenstein serves as a reflection of the time in which it was created, a snapshot of the societal values and concerns that shaped the world of the filmmakers. One of the most striking examples of Frankenstein's influence on popular culture can be seen in the world of literature. Authors such as Anne Rice and Clive Barker have drawn inspiration from Mary Shelley's novel, creating their own unique takes on the monster and its creator. In Rice's novel, The Vampire Lestat, for example, the character of Lestat is heavily influenced by Frankenstein's monster, embodying the same themes of isolation and rejection. Meanwhile, Barker's short story Rawhead Rex features a monster that is both a homage to Frankenstein and a subversion of its iconic status. But Frankenstein's influence extends far beyond the world of literature. In the realm of art, the monster has been depicted in countless works, from paintings to sculptures to installations. One notable example is the 1932 painting Frankenstein by Boris Vallejo, which captures the monster's iconic look in a haunting and expressive way. More recently, the artist Damien Hirst has created a series of sculptures featuring the monster, exploring the themes of identity and mortality. As I reflect on the various adaptations and interpretations of Frankenstein, I'm struck by the monster's continued relevance as a symbol of the other. This creature, created from dead body parts and brought to life through science and technology, represents the ultimate outsider, a being who is both fascinating and terrifying to us. And yet, despite its monstrous appearance, Frankenstein's creature is also a deeply human character, driven by a desire for connection and understanding. This duality, the monster as both other and human, is what continues to captivate audiences, sparking conversations about empathy and understanding. As we watch Frankenstein's creature stumble through the world, rejected by its creator and by society, we are reminded of the importance of compassion and acceptance. We are forced to confront our own fears and biases, to question our assumptions about what it means to be human. In the end, Frankenstein's monster is more than just a character in a horror movie. It's a reflection of our collective psyche, a symbol of the fears and anxieties that shape our world. As I continue on my journey through the world of horror movies, I'm excited to explore more of the ways in which Frankenstein has influenced popular culture, from its early days as a literary phenomenon to its current status as a cultural icon. This monster remains a powerful and enduring force, one that continues to inspire and terrify us in equal measure. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I find myself drawn to the timeless themes that make Frankenstein's monster an enduring figure in popular culture. I've always been fascinated by the way this creature, born from Mary Shelley's novel, has captured our imagination and sparked conversations about some of the most fundamental human emotions. One of the key reasons I think Frankenstein remains so captivating is its status as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Victor Frankenstein's obsessive pursuit of knowledge and scientific discovery ultimately leads to his downfall and the creation of a being that he can't control. This theme resonates with us today as we grapple with the consequences of playing God and meddling with forces beyond our understanding. But Frankenstein's impact on our collective psyche goes far beyond a simple warning about the dangers of ambition. This creature, brought to life through the power of science and technology, has also become a symbol of our deepest fears and anxieties. He represents the unknown, the other, and the monstrous other that lurks within us all. And yet, despite his terrifying appearance, the monster is also a being with a deep sense of longing and loneliness, a creature that yearns for connection and understanding. This dichotomy between fear and empathy is what makes Frankenstein such a powerful exploration of the human condition. It's a tale that reminds us that even the most monstrous of creatures can be capable of love, compassion, and kindness. And it's a theme that I think has been echoed in many of the horror movies that have followed in its footsteps. From the classic Universal films to the more modern reimaginings, Frankenstein's monster has become a symbol of our darkest fears and our deepest hopes. He represents the power of horror to explore complex themes and emotions, from fear to anxiety to compassion. And he reminds us that, even in the face of terror and uncertainty, we are all capable of empathy and understanding. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I'm struck by the way that Frankenstein's legacy continues to shape our collective imagination. From literature to film to art, this creature has left an indelible mark on our popular culture, inspiring countless interpretations and reinterpretations over the years. And yet, despite the many different versions and iterations that have been created, the core themes and emotions that drive Frankenstein's story remain the same. For me, that's what makes this tale so timeless and enduring. It's a story that speaks to our deepest fears and anxieties, but also to our capacity for love, compassion, and understanding. And it's a reminder that, even in the face of terror and uncertainty, we are all capable of empathy and connection. As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. But for now, I'm content to linger on the timeless themes of Frankenstein and the way they continue to captivate and inspire us today. As I continue to explore the world of horror movies, I find myself drawn to the enduring legacy of Frankenstein's monster. This creature, born from Mary Shelley's novel, has left an indelible mark on our collective imagination. But what is it about Frankenstein that continues to captivate us? For me, it's the monster's continued relevance as a symbol of the other. This creature, created from dead body parts and brought to life by a scientist's hubris, reflects changing societal values and our deepest fears about what it means to be human. In the 19th century, Frankenstein's monster represented the dangers of unchecked scientific progress and the fear of the unknown. Fast forward to today, and the monster still embodies our anxieties about immigration, xenophobia, and the other. As I delve deeper into the world of horror movies, I am struck by the ongoing influence of Frankenstein on popular culture. From films like Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein to literature like Anna Rice's Vampire Chronicles, this creature has inspired countless adaptations and reinterpretations. Artistic depictions of Frankenstein's monster range from the hauntingly beautiful to the grotesquely comedic, reflecting our complex and often contradictory attitudes towards this iconic figure. But Frankenstein's legacy extends far beyond the realm of entertainment. This cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition has sparked conversations about empathy and understanding that are just as relevant today as they were when the novel was first published. By exploring the monster's struggles to find acceptance and belonging, we're forced to confront our own biases and prejudices and to consider what it means to be compassionate and kind. One of the most striking aspects of Frankenstein's enduring legacy is the way it continues to inspire new adaptations and reinterpretations. From the critically acclaimed film Frankenstein 2015 to the hit TV series Penny Dreadful, this creature remains a timeless and universal symbol of the human condition. By exploring the monster's complexities and contradictions, we're able to tap into our own deepest fears and desires and to confront the darker aspects of our own nature. As I reflect on the enduring legacy of Frankenstein, I'm reminded of the power of horror movies to challenge our assumptions and spark important conversations. By embracing the monster's complexities and contradictions, we're able to confront our own biases and prejudices and to consider what it means to be compassionate and kind. In the end, Frankenstein's legacy is not just about a monster. It's about us and the choices we make about how we treat each other. As I continue on this journey through the world of horror movies, I'm excited to see how Frankenstein's legacy continues to evolve and inspire new adaptations and reinterpretations. Whether you're a horror fan or just someone who loves a good story, I invite you to join me on this journey and to explore the enduring legacy of Frankenstein's monster for yourself.